Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This is the March 21st edition of the From the Bench Podcast. I'm Mark Janish, welcoming you to a rainy Wednesday afternoon on the west coast of Southern California, here in the Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, and Ventura County area. The Tri-County area is being deluged by rain at this time in the burn areas near Montecito, California. So I'm back on the air with a podcast. Any podcast can be heard on Stitcher Radio and Libsyn. This podcast can also be compatible with your Android device over Stitcher. Your iOS and your Android devices can pick up these podcasts. You can also get this on accessmediaglobal.com. What I wanted to come to you today with, just wanted to review for you. It's been about a month since I've done a podcast for you, but want to give you continuing programming updates, some things that I've posted on the website at this time. One of the first things I want to do, the Sweet 16 of the National Collegiate Athletic Association tournament. The final 16 teams have played themselves out. Some tremendous upsets by the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and the Loyola of Chicago Ramblers, among others. So I'm going to go over Thursday's games and Friday's games for you. Time and channel will be indicated by the network. There's going to be a couple games on the CBS broadcast network in the United States and Turner Broadcasting Services. Please check your local cable and satellite listings for those of you listening outside the United States. Thursday's games find the very surprising Nevada Wolfpack and the Loyola of Chicago Ramblers and Sister Jean. 4:07 Eastern Time on CBS. The Nevada Wolfpack have led a total of 4 minutes and 26 seconds in this tournament. However, they do have some tremendous wins. They came back from 22 down to go ahead and win their last game. So we'll see what is happening with Eric Musselman, son of Bill Musselman, former Cleveland Cavalier coach in the 1980s. Eric Musselman leading the Nevada Wolfpack versus Loyola of Chicago, 7 seed versus number 11, 4:07 Eastern on CBS. Number 3 Michigan out of the Big Ten is going to be playing the Texas A&M Aggies, 7:37 p.m. on TBS, 4:37 on the West Coast, 4:07 and 4:37 on the West Coast. Once again, TBS for Michigan, Texas A&M. Then on Thursday, you have number 5, the Kentucky Wildcats and John Calipari playing number 9, Kansas State, 6:37 p.m. Pacific Time, 9:37 in the Eastern Time Zone of the United States on CBS. Number 4, the Bulldogs of Gonzaga out of the West Coast Conference, the WCC, versus number 9, Florida State. That's going to be at 9:59 p.m. Eastern, 6:59 in the West Coast time zones here on TBS. Once again, check your local cable and satellite listings for time in your area. Friday's games find number 1 Kansas and Roy Williams playing number 5 Clemson, 4:07 p.m. East Pacific Time, 7:07 Eastern Time on CBS. The number 1 Villanova Wildcats, ranked very highly in the top 10 most of the year. Villanova will be playing West Virginia, 4:27 p.m. Pacific Time, 7:27 in the Eastern Time Zone of the United States on TBS. The Kansas and Clemson game will be on CBS at 7:07 Eastern Time, 4:07 Pacific. Then, of course, the Duke Blue Devils with Coach K, Mike Karachevsky, playing number 11 Syracuse and Jimmy Boeheim. That actual game was a disappointment for Michigan State fans. Unfortunately, Michigan State was not hitting their shots. They played strategically terrible basketball. I think they should have gone inside a lot more. And, of course, Miles Bridges and crew is now sitting at home watching Duke over Syracuse. The surprise for Syracuse is they had to go ahead and do some be in the first 4 play-in games out of Dayton, Ohio. So they played a couple extra games, but that was a 55-53 victory that brought Syracuse facing Duke on Friday, 6:37 Pacific time on CBS, 9:37 Eastern time on the West Coast. Number 2 Duke versus number 11 seed Syracuse. And finally on Friday, the Boilermakers of Purdue minus Mr. Haas playing the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, 6:57 p.m. on TBS. Purdue, Duke, and Syracuse will be on CBS. Once again, 6:37 p.m. on CBS, 6:57 p.m. Pacific time on TBS, 9:57 in the East for Purdue, Texas Tech, and 9:37 in the East on CBS for Duke and Syracuse. So that should give you as much as we can regarding the March Madness tournament schedules. You can get that on the homepage at accessmediaglobal.com. What some other stuff that I'm bringing forth here as far as the homepages, just put up some new podcasts. So we have the Seattle Mariners podcast, an update on Felix Hernandez recovering from an early spring training injury to his forearm, doing quite well. Sasha Iwakuma also getting some throwing pitches in. I think he got 10 in. Felix Hernandez progressing very well. I'm not necessarily sure he's going to be able to start, but I think he should. March 29th, the Seattle Mariners open the season against the Cleveland Indians. You can hear the September 14th. This is a weekly Cactus League podcast. The latest episode, March 14th, 2018, is up. Also with the articles regarding Felix Hernandez progress. That, of course, sponsored and brought to you courtesy of ESPN Seattle, 710 Seattle, and Clubhouse reporter Shannon Dreyer. The other thing is we do have some MLS Soccer Extra Time podcasts available. March 6th through March 20th is the current podcast. Those are up. Also, the current weekly podcast for MLB. Anything you need to know regarding Major League Baseball in the United States, you can get on a weekly basis from Buster Olney. Right now, I just posted the March 12th through 16 podcasts. Those are available. I will post this week's podcast after Friday afternoon here. But right now, Buster Olney podcast is available March 12th to March 16th. Programming is available. And I have posted the Sweet 16 NCAA tournament information for you. If you missed it at the top of this podcast, it's available on the news feed. Then you also would like to know, since it is time for Major League Baseball, giving you a little bit of a taste just to get you motivated here due to some poor weather on the East Coast with some nor'easters and some devastating snow, canceled flights across the East Coast of the United States, and the aforementioned rain on the West Coast in here in the local Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo County, and Ventura County area. I posted some classic baseball. This from April 16th, 1957. The full radio broadcast from the Brooklyn Dodgers playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles? Oh, no. The Philadelphia Phillies from Connie Mack Stadium on April 16th, 1957. That, of course, when the schedule was about 154 games, and you'll be able to hear the full broadcast with former Dodger broadcaster Jerry Doggett and other broadcast partners available on Classic Baseball. I'll be posting some more Classic Baseball as the season gets closer. The season begins March 29th. I believe all 30 teams are going to play Rob Manfred has made some efforts to speed up the game, but baseball is a very regional game. It is a lovely game, but a lot of the younger millennial generation just doesn't have the time or the patience for baseball. But you're going to be able to listen to your great-grandfather's baseball, 1957, April 16th. Once again, that would be the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies from Connie Mack Stadium, opening day, 1957. You can also continue to tune in to accessmediaglobal.com starting April 4th. I'm going to have, for the minor league season, I'm going to be covering 4 teams out of the Pacific Coast League. I do have a minor league baseball page at the top of the page here. The From the Bench podcast, you see there, you will see and have some minor league baseball tape. If you go under Major League Baseball, you have the Major League Baseball feed. You have some Twitter feeds of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, the Oakland A's, and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Then you have the minor league baseball feed. What I've chosen to do there is cover 4 teams out of the PCL. That would be the Salt Lake Bees, the AAA affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the El Paso Chihuahuas, the AAA affiliate of the San Diego Padres, the Tacoma Rainiers, AAA affiliate of the Seattle Mariners, and, of course, the Oklahoma City Dodgers. So I want you to be ready for a full season of minor league baseball audio coverage on accessmediaglobal.com. You can listen to every podcast and get that audio on your iOS and Android phones. The website is totally compatible to your phone, so you can scroll down, hit the links that I'll be posting here shortly for you. That's beginning, once again, April 4th. Pacific Coast League action. This could be your home for AAA Pacific Coast League baseball, covering those 4 teams as we go forward. I'm going to actually be looking at some NBA stuff probably this week due to the inclement weather. That's going to keep me inside pretty much. So we're going to look at some NBA basketball seedings, pairings as the season comes down to the end here. And then, of course, we're going to begin the playoffs. The MLB baseball season, as I said, begins March 29th. The Cleveland Indians face the Seattle Mariners. And we're going to go from there. We'll also be covering the Los Angeles Dodgers and a little bit smattering of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim regional. So you have some regional and national coverage of sports through Buster Olney. We'll be also posting some stuff from Peter Gammons, writer, longtime writer for the Boston Globe and on the MLB Network. One other thing, the soccer coverage is going to increase as we get toward the World Cup. Right now, the MLS Soccer Extra Time podcast is up. We have March 6th, March 7th, March 8th, March 13th, and March 20th podcasts up for you. Go under the soccer heading on the bottom of the homepage here at accessmediaglobal.com. Well, we're going to keep you posted. We're going to try to stay dry and stay out of the way of debris mud flows. But we want you to enjoy the first couple of days of spring. I know it's probably not feeling that way across the west and the east coast of the United States, but I'm happy you're along. Thank you for listening across Canada, Peru, Honduras, China, and the Philippines, among others, and the Netherlands. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Hopefully it's a benefit to you. Hopefully it nurtures your love of sports. For now, I'm Mark Janish. This is the From the Bench podcast for March 21st, 2018. We'll be back later this week with some more information, but until then, I'm Mark Janish, AccessMediaGlobal.com proprietor, founder, and podcast voice. For now, you have a great evening. and may God richly bless you. Hopefully you've enjoyed the podcast. I've enjoyed bringing it to you. And have a great day, everyone. For the Access Media Global Podcast, I'm Mark Janish, your host. And you can also get a hold of me through the Contact Me page. If you have any questions that are legitimate, you can certainly do so. You can also join me on Twitter if you'd like, Access Media Global, Mark at Access Media on Twitter. Have a great day, everyone. Take care, and we'll be talking to you soon.